Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Nabiina Muhammad. So I wanted to mention some Islamic history, some recent history that many people may not be aware of. This occurred in the country of Indonesia during the year 1999. So to give you some background on the country of Indonesia, this country is over 86% Muslim and 10% Christian. This is the country as a whole. As for the southern part of Indonesia, it consists of several islands known as Maluku, often called Spice Island. The capital of these islands is Ambon. This is the capital and largest city of Maluku Islands. It was colonized by Portugal in 1526, and the Dutch came in 1609. So this area of Indonesia is 60% Christian and 39% Muslim. So the majority of Christians live in the southern part of Indonesia. So in Ambon, the capital of all these islands, the Muslims and Christians, they mixed, they interacted together, they even partied together, to the extent that it was very difficult to tell them apart. Who was a Christian and who was a Muslim? They had a strong bond and a friendship. All of this came to an end on the morning of January 19th, 1999. This was Eid al-Fitr, the Islamic holiday that follows the month of Ramadan. This was the beginning of an 18-month major conflict between the Muslims and Christians of this area. So what happened? After the Muslims prayed their Eid prayer that morning, a mob of Christians came and began to attack them with machetes, attacking men, women, and children. In another village, they began to loot and riot the Muslim homes in several waves, and they had been given orders and organized by an unknown leader. The next day, they began to burn down Muslim homes, burning down over 100 homes, and an estimated 3,000 Muslims fled during the first 3 days of fighting. Christian mobs even burned down and looted the Muslim stores, and they burned down an Islamic elementary school and kindergarten. Over 100 Muslims were killed during the initial attack. Now, when this conflict happened, the Muslim scholars began to speak about this and give advice to the Muslims on how to deal with this major issue. One such scholar was Sheikh Mukbil of Yemen. Now, there were actually several hundred students from Indonesia studying under Sheikh Mukbil when this conflict occurred, and he gave them the verdict that they should go and protect the Muslims who were under attack. Now, before Sheikh Mukbil gave this verdict, another well-known scholar, Sheikh Rabi ibn Hadi al-Madkhali, gave a similar verdict that the Muslims should travel to Ambon and assist the Muslims fighting against the oppressors. Now, Sheikh Rabi himself had previously traveled to Afghanistan along with many other Muslims to fight against the Soviet Union and their invasion of Afghanistan back in the 1980s. Sheikh Rabi actually traveled to Afghanistan to fight against the Russians 3 separate times. Yes, in the 1980s, several Muslims outside of Afghanistan traveled to Afghanistan to fight against the Russian invasion. Just like today in 2022, thousands of Christians are traveling to Ukraine to fight against the Russian invasion. The Washington Post said as many as 20,000 foreign fighters are traveling to Ukraine to fight against the Russians. From them, there are an estimated 4,000 Americans, non-military, civilian Americans that have traveled to the Ukraine to fight against the Russian invasion. One such individual is U.S. Navy veteran and former MSNBC analyst Malcolm Nance. He confirmed that he is fighting in the Ukraine against the Russian invasion. So in this case, back in 1999, the government of Indonesia, they allowed the Muslims to travel to southern Indonesia to protect their Muslim brothers. And two major scholars gave the verdict that they should go also. It's important to note that the Muslims in Maluku who were being attacked by the Christian mobs, they were not Salafi. In fact, you could barely see the traces of Islam upon them. But it was the Salafis who traveled there to protect and fight on their behalf. And they did not receive support from other Muslim groups, not in manpower nor in weapons. In fact, on May 13th in the year 2000, while the Salafis were in the south fighting against the mobs, protecting the Muslims, other Muslim groups were in the capital city of Indonesia, Jakarta, protesting against the president. And the protests had nothing to do with the bloodshed in the south. Rather, they thought the president was corrupt and they wanted him out. So they were protesting against the president while the Salafis were fighting to protect their Muslim brothers and sisters. So the Salafis fighting to protect the Muslims in the south didn't receive any support. So if a group of 20 brothers were to go out on a mission, only 5 of them had guns and the rest had makeshift weapons. And those 5 with guns only had a handful of bullets due to limited supplies. The Salafi brothers who were fighting were led by one of the students of Sheikh Mukbil. His name was Luqman. He had previously studied with Sheikh Mukbil for a nice amount of time, and he was leading the group fighting against the Christian mobs. Although the official leader of the group, and they called the group Lascar, the official leader was an elder named Jafar, but the leader on the front lines was Luqman. And by the mercy of Allah, in addition to defending the Muslims and fighting against the Christian attackers, they were also able to teach and educate the residents of that area, teaching them Tawheed and Sunnah. The conflict ended in 2002, and the Salafi brothers, students of knowledge, they remained there teaching the people their religion and helping them get back on their feet. And currently this area in Maluku is 52% Muslim and 46% Christian.